everybody, welcome to Dub Sock Live, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World. A beatdown in Cleveland. The Warriors trailed by as much as 41 points. The damage happened so early, and the Warriors take a big L to the number one team in the league, the Cavaliers, who now move to 10-0. The Warriors 7-2. All right, Zena, Keita, Kerith, Burke here with you. As you were watching that first half, when you saw the Warriors have such a slow start after such a good game beforehand, can we put this game in its place? How embarrassing was this?
I actually don't think it's that embarrassing. You just listed 10-0, right? If this was against the Utah Jazz, if this was against Brooklyn Nets, if this was against a team that's just not capable of winning and winning strong, then I'd be like, yeah, you got to think about some things. I do think it's a sobering game.
Okay.
Because I think everyone got a little hype around that Boston Celtics game.
I know I did.
It was a statement win, of course. But now you got to realize, okay, you got to be able to sustain that level of performance. And the Warriors did not start strong against a very strong team. So I wouldn't say embarrassing as much as I would say you woke up a little.
You woke up a little. Okay. And because of the game that preceded it, like how well the Warriors played in the Garden against the defending champ, a measuring stick kind of game, you think, okay, could they also measure themselves? Just put it together. You want consistency strung together from game to game. So how would you rate this as sort of a letdown coming off that Boston game?
That's a great word.
Okay.
That is a letdown.
Yeah.
You absolutely are disappointed by how you started this game, considering you started pretty okay. First quarter wasn't great against the Celtics, but again, remember that adjustment that was made early on? You didn't see it tonight against the Cavs. And that's the problem that the Warriors are probably going to be the most upset about tonight, is that they weren't able to make the same sorts of adjustments until too late in the game. And that's big for a team that wants to be in the playoffs.
Okay, a little bit more unforgiving against the Cavaliers. They went down, the Warriors did 20-2 against the Cavaliers, could not claw out of that. In Boston, they went down 14-3, but recovered. So tonight, just the Cavs were the superior team. Again, the best team in the league. The Warriors were gambling a little bit with their starting lineup. They went with the defensive unit and size. You had GP2, you had Draymond Green and TJD. I understand all of those decisions. You do want to see if you can have that defensive intensity very early so Cleveland can't get anything rolling. Just the worst thing happened, though. Those three guys combined for 0 points in the first half. 0 points. So three non-shooters. The gamble of having the defense and the size didn't work. It might work in other games, not this one.
No, but this is the thing. The Warriors have had this problem. I looked this up. Out of the 9 games they've played, 5 of them, the Warriors have had 2 or more starters with 2 or less points in the first.
Okay.
So this is a consistent issue that they're coming across, that they can't start fast. Now remember, they've had a melange of starters. They've had a mix of starters because Steph has been out. They've tried Jonathan Kaminga in the starting position. They've tried Pods in the starting position. They've tried Moody in the starting position. So it's not as if it's the same starting 5 that's consistently not showing up. Within a mix of talent, they haven't been able to get shot creators and offense producers. And that's what's going to hold them back if they're going to go up against a team like Cavaliers, who do start strong and were very well prepared for this game.
Yeah, in control from the beginning, a wire-to-wire win for the Cavaliers, arriving again at 10-0. All right, let's see if Moses Moody can help us glean anything from this one. He was at the podium.
In the first half, they got a lot of open shots. They was driving and kicking it. They made a lot of shots.
What kind of ball or what kind of pressure do Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell put on a defense with their dribble penetration?
Yeah, they made the right play a lot. So it wasn't even necessarily that they being overly aggressive, but they drove to the basket, drew 2, and made the right pass, and guys knocking down shots.
What did you like the most about the second half? Steve said he thinks it's important to play through games even during slow starts. What did you like about the way you guys were able to finish in that second half?
Yeah, not to keep dropping quotes, but they say don't judge a man in times of comfort, judge him in times of I forgot them, but it's like judging in time of the uncomfort. But just seeing that we got that, being down like that, and being able to keep fighting and keep the pressure going, and not even pay attention to the score as much as paying attention to what we're doing on the floor, that's the telltale sign of a good team.
What clicked better in the second half offensively?
We were more aggressive offensively and defensively, but it started on defense. pressure into the ball. Stack was talking about it at halftime, making plays and making it uncomfortable for him, and then that translated to good offense.
How do you want to finish this road trip? What are you looking for on Sunday against Oklahoma City?
Yeah, I want to finish it the right way. It's been a great road trip so far. We can't let the losses stack. So, we just figure out what we need to execute and get ready for the next game.
Moses, you precious man.
At all times, bless Moses Moody.
Don't measure a man in the times of comfort. Measure a man in the times of not comfort. Listen, I can't tell you how many times I've lost my train of thought. So I identify with that so much.
Absolutely. He's adorable for that. And it's true, though. It's true. I think the time of not comfort was tonight. And yeah, it's going to be a matter of let's see if they can bounce back against OKC, as he was saying.
This is one of those shows where we don't want to talk about the game so much. So we wanted to open it to questions from Warriors fans. These questions actually come from Blue Sky, which is awesome. One of 10,000 social media platforms now.
Yeah, I just learned what it is
tonight. Okay, we gotta get you on there. Okay, the first one is kind of tapping into something here. Ryan is asking, was this just a bad night for the team, or did the Cavs expose anything that could be a fundamental flaw for the Warriors? You're shaking your head. I'll let you take this one.
I definitely think it was a bad night in general. And in the span of an 82-game season, this is going to happen. Having it happen against the best team in the NBA right now, not bad. That start was awful, terrible, but they bounced back. Still a loss. At the end of the day, they'll take it, they'll learn, get better. But there is a fundamental flaw. We've already discussed it. The slow start. And it's not only just the slow start on the offensive end, it's the slow start on the defensive end. That is uncharacteristic to who they've been this entire season. They cannot resort to what they were last year. This is the first time we're seeing the Warriors back to the same defensive intensity that they were under Mike Brown. Shout out to Jerry Stackhouse. I know we're probably going to talk about that later.
Yeah, we will.
But that can't be an identity of the Warriors. Resorting back to anything they were doing before this consistent stretch of 7-1, they have to be consistent.
Is another flaw potentially the makeup of this team as far as size? Because you addressed pregame, the size, like the double whammy of size that the Cavaliers had. Do you think there's anything there?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been an issue for a while, is that, that's what the hope is for TJD to come in and become that player that can not only paint protect, but also produce in the paint. And he had a great start to the season, literally didn't miss a field goal for a few games, but against talented, athletic bigs, he struggles. You saw that tonight against Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen, him just being out. I don't know if there's a word for being out athleticized, if there was a word for
there
that.
is now.
Yeah, there it is. But they were just more athletic than him. They were getting up extra balls. Anytime he went up, it felt as if he wasn't jumping as high as they were. So that's going to be a struggle that he's going to have to play through and get better at. But in the short term, the Warriors absolutely need a scoring big, because having a size like a GP2, Draymond Green, and TJD out there, and them getting donuts to start the game, it's a problem.
Okay, so naturally this leads to a question that a lot of people are wondering about, the starting lineup. What do the Warriors do here? Hal is saying, is it time to rethink it that in order to make sure these slow starts aren't a consistent trend? I was thinking, are we going to eventually see the Warriors get back to their opening night starters? It was Steph, Wiggins, JK, Draymond, and TJD. All of this is predicated on health as well. JK has been coming off the bench. That's interesting as far as his, playing with Buddy Hield. Who do you have as your ball handlers, that kind of thing? Where do the Warriors go? What would you do? Small, big? What do you think is best for them?
I think size definitely matters. Really, I think pace matters too. Being able, you see sometimes pods being inserted into the starting lineup is great against transition teams, keeping up with the pace, taking the ball out quickly, making sure that offense is going and not allowing defenses to set up. That's great against these fast backcourts. You like a sizable wing like JK to be able to score against a team that might be a little bit bigger in size, and they need a big guard like a JK to attack the basket. It is something that we've seen Kerr do with the starting lineup, is change it based on the opponent.
Okay.
I'm not against that. I'm not against that. And because the Warriors have not had consistency in their starting lineup just yet, I'm thinking right now, probably shift back to a faster starting lineup, pods insertion. Keep JK coming off the bench because he's been playing really well from there. Buddy Hield, keep him off the bench. But here's the thing that we're forgetting about. DeAnthony Melton is back. And all preseason, that was a ball handler, a defender, and a scorer for the Warriors. So I'd like to see him get better and get back into the starting lineup. But in the meanwhile, potentially a pods insertion would be great for the pace.
Okay, and all of these questions build on each other because, again, it's like, what do you do with Jonathan Kaminga here? And there's another question. Somebody wanted to say, like, how likely is it that Kaminga would be traded this season? I know this is a popular topic, and this topic comes because he has value. He is an extraordinarily good player. I remember Mike Dunleavy saying he was virtually untouchable at the trade deadline last year. They like him. They drafted him. They have invested so much in him. Yeah. But he's got to be tempting for other teams. Do you listen when they call?
Well, here's the thing. When he said that, that was before the contract extension conversation, right? Jonathan Kaminga wanted upwards around 35 mil. Warriors were ready to give him 30 mil. So they were close, but not close enough for Jonathan Kaminga to come to terms. Yeah. So with that being said, now he has to play to earn that right. And you're seeing him absolutely play up to the caliber that he believes he deserves his money. And when Jonathan Kaminga keeps playing that well, the more interest and more value he generates amongst other teams. Great for the Warriors either way. Yeah. But as we mentioned before, we were talking about potential trades in terms of like size, adding size. If you're looking at taking $30 million off the books by not extending, Jonathan Kaminga at the end of this season, possibly bringing in a big that's under 30 mil, that also scores. There's already rumors out there of potentials like Chicago Bulls. Before last year, it was about Zach LaVine. There's also conversations about Vucevic. Nikola Vucevic is a 20-point, 11 rebound big. That's big. Yeah. And guess how much his salary is? 20 mil. Okay. Right? So there's things out there in terms of Jonathan Kaminga is playing up to the level that other teams are interested in. I think it would be highly likely, as he continues to play well, that teams are calling.
Does his trade value take a hit if he's coming off the bench?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
No. I think perfect example, Kerith LeVert. Okay. Coming from BK. Brooklyn, played incredibly well in Brooklyn, comes over to the Cavs, still playing incredibly well. Yeah. And even better, I think, offensive and defensive player, two-way player, still valuable. So I think there's a bunch of teams that can see how a player can fit into their scheme overall. Now, does that mean they'll pay him the $35 million he's looking for?
No.
Good question. Yeah. But will they still want him? Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
I wrote down the Warriors draft picks since 2016, okay? Damian Jones, Jacob Evans, Jordan Poole, Eric Paschall, James Wiseman, Nico Mannion, JK and Moses. Okay, those are the two guys with the team, and Patrick Baldwin. There are two guys left since 2016 that the Warriors have drafted. And if they say goodbye to JK, that leaves Moses Moody. Would that be an interesting indictment on how the Warriors have drafted?
I mean, maybe. The good thing is, I'll say this, Mike Dunleavy has done a wonderful job so far with the team that he inherited and also bringing in these, additions from outside the NBA. That's what interests me. If he is involved in trade conversations, I think he's done a really great job of bringing in right fits, personality fits, skill level, what they can offer to the team. So draft picks, the Warriors have a few. I'm sure they would want a few more after what they've seen historically. Yeah. JK could be the person that can garner that level of interest of not only another player, but also some draft picks as well.
They had a homegrown core, and it seems like the Warriors are starting to move away with that. Listen, you have to evolve, whatever that means. I just thought that was a little interesting.
That is.
All right, as far as fit, Jerry Stackhouse has been making an impression on this team. On the Dubs Talk podcast, we got to learn a little bit more about him. There goes JK doing something in this game. We'll let Monty and Mully talk when we come back.
Dubs Talk Live is presented by Mancini Sleep World. Visit Mancini Sleep World for our Black Friday sale. Save big on premium mattresses plus free delivery. Hurry in now or visit us online at sleepworld.com.
All right, we are back on YouTube. Lots of more questions in here. How do you put 3 non-shooters off the floor on the same time? Tonight, you are right, it did not work. Our starters have been letting the team down is one of the comments there. I mean, yeah, accountability has to go everywhere. I mean, somebody's asking, are the Cavs just that good? And I think the answer is yes. Like,
Absolutely.
what happens when the Cavaliers come here? When the Warriors have a rematch, when it's deeper into the season, what does any of this kind of look like? Yeah.
I think absolutely.
Yeah.
I've been watching the Cavs.
Mhm.
They are that good.
Mhm.
They are unbelievably well constructed.
Mhm.
You want a good backcourt, you want a strong front court, and they have that. And not only do they have that, they also have solid backups. Kerith LeVert coming off the bench. Sam Merrill, a 3-point shooter. He replaces what Max Strus was last year. Y'all remember Ty Jerome?
We do.
He has a chip
do.
on his shoulder, okay? And he's been showing up. Tonight, I won't say it was a really great night for him, but it wasn't an anomaly. He's actually been a big scorer and a big presence for the Cavs so far this season. Look up his stats. This has been the makeup of their team, and I think the rest of the league has to accept it. Yeah, it's not the Cavs that the Warriors used to know, but they have been building, as Steve Kerr said, they've been building to this. And the more and more, if they can keep this core together.
Yeah. And congratulations to Kenny Atkinson as well, coaching this team, like making sure that he fits there and getting the most out of your personnel. Ty Jerome, by the way, 7 of 8, 3 for 3 from 3, arriving at 20 points. Oh, one thing to mention, which kind of just didn't fit into our open, the Cavaliers made it to the free throw line 28 times and they sank 24 of them. So there are just all sorts of facets here.
Mm-hmm.
They had their 3-ball going. I mean, they got to the line. They out-rebounded the Warriors. Did they out-rebound the Warriors? Yes, they did. So, yeah. All right, welcome back to Dubs Talk Live, presented by Mancini Sleep World. You can check out the Dubs Talk podcast on NBCSportsBayArea.com. New episodes every week, sometimes even 2 a week. Chris Mullin stopped in to talk with Monty Poole about Jerry Stackhouse and the Warriors' defense.
I mean, everybody that I've talked to about defense on this team, they bring up Jerry Stackhouse. The Warriors, Steve Kerr went out and hired a new couple of new assistants, Terry Stotts and Jerry Stackhouse. Terry for the offense, Jerry for the defense. And when you talk to these guys now, they all talk about Coach Stack and how even last night, Buddy talked about how Coach Stack is on me, And Draymond a few days ago was saying that he's making us accountable. He's holding us accountable. He has a sheet where he judges what we do, tells us when we're doing wrong, and so he points those things out. He said we didn't have that last year. The Warriors were 15th in defensive rating last year, 14th the year before. They missed Mike Brown, who was a similar guy in terms of the way he focused on defense. And Jerry is bringing that same intensity, and you're starting to see that. And it's crazy to think that it's only been, not even 3 or 4 weeks yet that we're seeing that.
Yeah, I think whether the head coach, assistant coaches, whether the offensive defense, accountability is everything. And what you have to ask them to do things that they're capable of doing. So to me, I get back to the roster changes. First of all, they're able to do it. That's a big thing, physically. They can move their feet. They got good length. So now I'm not asking you to do anything you're not capable of. Now let's be accountable for that. So the change of roster, number one, Stack, look, recently retired. He was a coach at Vanderbilt. He's got great energy. He was a tough player. He had a tremendous career, tough guy, competitor. And I think that connection is important because you feel, responsible for your job, especially on defense. Because once one guy breaks down, everything falls apart. Offensively, you can make things up. You can get more play freelance offensive. Defense, you got to be connected. And I think that's what it's all about. Let's talk about Buddy Hield again. Buddy Hield needs to be solid defensively so he doesn't stick out enough to where they take him out. So his shooting can have an impact. He's done that. You see, even if it's a simple thing, don't give up middle. Run the 3-point shooter off. Don't give up a straight line drive and then contest twos. If he makes, we'll live with that. That's your responsibility. If you do that, we're good. Doesn't mean you're going to make a stop every time. Like last night, Tatum got his numbers, but they made him work. And his impact on the game was diminished because of how hard he had to work for his shot And I look at last night, and the Celtics, and they're a great team. But I look at them, offense is very predictable. You know where the ball's going to wind up. They're going to play off the dribble. They're going to shoot a lot of threes. And that's why I said earlier, the Warriors, to me, in a very good way, are predictable defensively and unpredictable offensively. And I think that's exactly the way you want to be when you're, especially in the regular season, when you can stack up wins when people are not necessarily locked in on your, details of your offense, and they're just locking people down defense. It's really, really impressive because last year that was the number one thing that put them. And they had a really good season, but if they played this defense, they probably would have been a top 4 seed.
All right, thank you so much, guys. Chase Center, the Warriors will be back there soon after handling OKC. Captain Clay on the way as well. We'll talk favorite memories next. Get makeup on them? Like if I put it on, it's gonna get okay.
I have a high. Oh, all right. I guess we're.
Look, you look cute. That actually looks like part of your outfit.
Oh my
it does.
God.
You look
That's
cute.
Hilarious. Hi, YouTube.
She
We're
looks
trying out
cute.
these new hats for Clay Day. I'm be like, hey, I wonder if he'll get one.
No, that's totally fine. You made the right call there. And because did we talk a little bit long in the A block as well? Yeah. Okay.
There we go. YouTube, you guys like our hats?
Can I do it this way?
We're doing the thing right here. Oh, I like it. This is definitely going to be some college kids like Halloween costume next year because this is what you put in the costume trunk. You just have these things.
Yes, no, you do.
You know,
yes, just one or two accessories, and you can whip up any old thing. Yes,
just get creative with them. Absolutely.
This is huge. It's on my ears.
Oh, it looks cute.
But I think your hair is assisting you tonight.
Mine is so big that it's literally helped. Yeah, I'm like plopped it on. Yeah. It's okay. I'm gonna keep it just like this.
I might need to. Hang on. Oh, you can. Oh, good. So whose big head was this on before?
Captain Kerith with a K. I like it.
Yep. Are you in the comments too?
Well, I just turned it on.
Yeah.
I didn't know if anybody had any other questions.
Okay, that's probably better. You can see my
Sabina,
eyes now.
GP2 started because of defense.
Yeah.
Just to answer that question real quickly.
Yep. Okay. Schedule and Clay memories.
Boom.
Welcome back to Dubs Talk. Let's take a look at the schedule. The 5-game road trip almost done. The last game is in OKC. That's where Lindy Waters spent 3 seasons. The Thunder, number 1 in blocks and steals coming into tonight. Also the youngest team in the league. That's going to be a tough one. And then they come home for an emotional one. Clay Day, Tuesday at Chase Center. We have to take this opportunity, first of all, to show you the Clay Day Captain Clay hats the team is giving away. These are fire.
They look
fire.
Great. They're awesome. These are great.
But it did remind me to ask, there are so many Klay Thompson memories, so many legendary moments. What is your favorite?
Legendary moment, literally printed on my mind. Klay Thompson tearing his ACL.
Oh, God.
In 2019, excuse me. Going into the tunnel at Oracle, walking back out, shooting his free throws, and then taking off after the second made free throw, going down the other way, trying to play through a torn ACL.
Yeah.
It was surreal. Like they had to tell him, no, you got to get off. Mm-hmm. Just embodies, again, we're seeing the Mamba mentality embodies everything that Clay would want to be in terms of just leaving it all out there for his team.
It makes my stomach hurt to remember that, actually, and to see him leaving on crutches like that, because we knew it was bad, but not the extent of it. What would that mean for him?
The entire arena arose. Like everyone got up on their feet. Everyone, Toronto fans as well, all on their feet. It was like
Yeah.
Jesus came back. It's amazing.
My favorite one, and I have to check the year, October of 2018, it was in Chicago. It was when he got the 3-point record, surpassing Steph's 3-point record.
That's
So
a good
Clay
one.
made 14 threes. And I remember this because the media sits right along the baseline. We actually had really good seats to see this. And there was kind of that bubbling feeling of like, Clay game. And listen, you can see 14 for 24. Okay, in the second half, the team got really giddy. They're like, get it, Clay, get it, Clay. And this was a game where the Bulls were shorthanded. So there was also this unease from the coaching staff. They're like, we're running up the score. Are we being sportsmanlike? That kind of thing. Oh, all sorts of memories coming to mind. That sweatband right there.
He didn't wear it in the first half.
But that's because Damian Jones clocked him in the forehead with an elbow and he was bleeding. So he got 2 stitches.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yes, he was bleeding. So those were covering the blood. The sweatband was covering
I always wondered
the
why
blood.
he just randomly put on a sweatband.
It wasn't random.
That's
why.
unreal.
That's why. So
Wow.
so Clay missed a long stretch of threes as he was going for it, but eventually it was KD who gave him the assist, and then immediately Steve Kerr took him out of the game. So Kerr was aware that the record was going to happen. Clay got it with 14. When I looked it up, when Clay subbed out, it was 113-69. So so a massive blowout. Steve wanted Clay to get the record. Everybody was aware of it, but then they tried to do the most sportsmanlike thing at the end there. And I remember talking to Clay. I got a one-on-one afterward, and I was like, what are you going to do with this game ball? He said, well, of course, I'm going to save it. But in the event somebody passes the record again, because maybe they would leapfrog each other again. He told me if that happens, he would give that game ball to his dog, Rocco, to play with. Like, just that's Clay. I don't really think he's attached. That is so Clay.
Perfect round story of, very much Clay. Oh, of course you got to include Rocco.
Yeah.
If there was a boat in there, it couldn't be a better story.
So it's just like, I don't know. He was so happy.
Yeah.
But he was also happy for Steph. Like, he was aware that he passed Steph for that. He was aware that Steph was the one trying to feed him the ball. Steph was like jumping up and down giddy.
Oh, so yeah.
Giddy.
Yeah. That's been the spirit for every
Yeah.
single time Steph hit the points record, the 3-point record.
Yeah.
Clay and his record. I mean, everyone's always been so excited and galvanized by other teammates winning. It's awesome. It's a great sentiment around the entire team, and good vibes back then for sure.
Okay, so do you know how people took video of at the Garden when the crowd welcomed Steve Kerr back? I think we're going to see the opposite. Like, the Chase Center crowd is going to welcome with a deafening roar, I would imagine. For Klay Thompson.
Absolutely.
I'm so thrilled we get to be in the building for that. So see if you can be in the building for that too. I would imagine it's very pricey, but we'll have that game for you. See if you can get one of these hats too. Thank you everybody for joining us on Dubs Talk Live, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World. She's Zena, I'm Kerith. We will continue in the YouTube chat for just a little bit, and we will see you on Sunday. All right, we've got some other, Captain Clay. Hold on, Catherine says sideline Clay with his interview skills. Oh yeah, I got to see that firsthand. No, just the fact that you never knew what he would say.
Oh yeah.
And he was like
I'll never
pretty
forget
emotional
that.
and like honest. He was honest.
Well, the New York the
scaffolding
interview was, I mean, it goes down in history. I think the other one, there was Marcus Thompson wrote a piece about Clay being so mad at a game that he left in his jersey.
He didn't even shower.
He didn't shower. He just
out.
left.
Yeah.
And then there was the other one. We remember the video last year or maybe 2 years ago when he was trying to get back from injury and he just sat on the bench for hours after a game.
I think it was around Thanksgiving, and he had the towel over his head.
Correct. Very contemplative player when it comes to his game as well. And a lot of times people think Clay's pretty up here, pretty superficial, and that doesn't get too deep for the media. And he keeps it happy-go-lucky. But there were several moments across his career where you saw, like, this means a lot to him. And, he gets emotional. He just recently had a social media clip of him explaining last season and what that meant to him. It was to an influencer, plays basketball. I forget his name, but either way, he started tearing up as he was explaining, his feelings and his sentiments around last season, and feeling like he could play and feeling like he could still produce and contribute, and just being in the situation that he was in. So it's just like, we always think he's just like airplane Clay, folding up box scores, keeping it light. But it means something to him, obviously, and he definitely can get deep.
He can. I'm thinking. I want to see that clip actually. I think
Oh
so.
yeah. I'll share it too.
I do remember how many. It was like Clay was fighting demons of the player he used to be before the injuries.
Absolutely.
But then coming to that realization that he can't be that player anymore. You literally can't. You have to change. His role was changing. Would he be a starter? Would he be coming off the bench? Making peace with coming off the bench, how well he started playing off the bench, but just maybe having that thought, that kernel of wonder in his head. What if this would be different somewhere else? And that belief in self, taking a risk on yourself to make a very difficult jump when all you've known is the Golden State Warriors and you are beloved here and you are part of an incredible core that will go down as one of the greatest
dynasty.
three-man unit in the history of the game. Do you leave?
Mm-hmm.
Do you say goodbye to that? So yeah, Clay's got some heavy stuff on his mind. He's somebody I know I'll always cheer for. It's going to be weird seeing him in a Mavericks jersey, but it will be fantastic to see him.
I double took when I
At
saw
large.
the promo. I was like, wait, because they put Steph and Clay right beside each other. And I was like, what? Oh, yeah, that's weird. Okay. Not a promo for just the Warriors.
Nope. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. We will see you soon.
Thanks, everybody.